Okay, I was looking at some tweets online about pandemic, slating politicians in the UK for talking about a second national lockdown. Um, Wales is in 2 week lockdown, just 2 weeks. And people might think, oh, that's not much, 2 weeks. So it will work to help out with the health authorities. There is a 2 week incubation period in the virus where you don't kind of like, there's things going on in your body, and then you get an average 2 weeks later the side effects. Now, people will not inform themselves on what is going on. They will jump to emotional conclusions and then try to point the finger. Everyone wants to aim at something. Everyone wants to blame somebody. Within that arena, that mindset, no one's educating themselves. Just shut up, calm down, and listen to experts. Of course, Donald Trump's not going to do that. Just blurt out a load of garbage, opens his mouth and shit comes out, right? And the same could be said for some authorities who become a little bit too egocentric within other countries, even the UK as well, where I live as well. And everyone's brainwashed to think that the country's the best in everything, particularly America. You just, it's drummed into you, it's ingrained into you to, shout "Go Team" and wave a flag right from early childhood throughout school, regardless of the factual information. So I see a tweet slating a politician for saying that the virus is out of control. And the tweet says, out of control, I'm quoting them, it's way, what are you saying? The levels aren't nowhere near the same as they were back in March. Well, that might be true in some ways. It's to the detriment, not to the betterment. They're nowhere near, they're actually far higher. Again, where they're getting their information from, you've got to question the source, the information. So, here we go. I can't really see where. March would be in the middle there somewhere. And now to the latest days, is that's the UK numbers, way higher than is safe for the health professions to cope with. Although fewer are dying, there's still this is like 2.5 times more than what there was going on. So fewer are dying per the same amount, but more are dying because the amount is far more. I kind of butchered that description. I think you should get what I mean, and just think about it. It's ridiculous what's going on there. So there's that. And I just want to talk about random things here, as I do on this channel, as opposed to Exploratory Minds. And there will be more videos on how to use exploratoryminds.com. People really need to pull their head out the fantasy of what they prefer to believe, though, regardless of what is actually going on around them. And looking at the wrong kind of, you don't put validity to a source of information from an individual who is not an expert on that particular subject. But people are doing that. I was shown a video of a lawyer talking about crimes against humanity, and they want to sue somebody apparently responsible for COVID. That's a lawyer, not a biologist, not a scientist, not a doctor. Lawyers need to look for a case, if there is any, and they need to put themselves out there to get work. And what better opportunity to do that if when people are crying conspiracy, to jump on that bandwagon just in case. Obviously, as a lawyer with very little work. I know a lawyer had a lot of work recently and then ditched a client. You know who that is. Which leads me to some of the fuckery going on there. Was my last video about Nick. I always want to say more, but it takes me time and thinking how to articulate myself, as I don't tend to do what I need to say on the spot. I think about it, then it comes later. I'm not very good at on the spot sort of putting things apart and saying my piece, although I've been praised that I'm on point with some things I put out there. Thank you very much. But I'm an admirer of those individuals who they know what to say, they know how to respond immediately, particularly when in a heated debate without being derogative, using swear words or whatever. And Nick was torn a new asshole, really. He deserved it. The thing I've noticed here with people like Kyle, Nick, Jason, they actively try to appeal to those who are obviously not as smart as them in order to feed off the praise, the feed their ego, right? They look for dumbasses because they know they can manipulate them. Again, gaslighting, right? This is why I said at the end of the last video, he's just another gaslighting scumbag like the rest of them. Not all of them. Some of them are just too dumb to know what the hell's going on. They choose to believe a particular, source of information, source of bullshit, I guess. Certainly Minister Sobriety is even dumber than Jason, and I know that's a big claim, because is that even physically possible? Well, 2019 to 2020 has brought the conclusion that there isn't a limit on human stupidity. It's one of those infinite things. If we are in a world of equals and opposites, then that also means that there's no limit on how smart we can get. Hopefully. Yeah, there's probably a plateau somewhere, and then we evolve by using our technologies in an integrated way. Look at Neuralink. That's an idea there. That's one of the things that's motivating that. I've talked about Neuralink before with Elon Musk. His work on having a chip in the brain to facilitate, like you just literally think words and be typing on a computer. It's not magic. It's wireless communication, but there's all kinds of applications for Neuralink. Particularly for disabled people as well. It's fascinating. Potential facilitated, I don't know what word you would use, kind of like psychic communication as well, like from one brain to another without others listening in. Having a private chat from one brain to another, and the brain itself is the technology, or a upgraded via a tiny chip. There's potential potentially theoretically possible with the evolution of that technology. No pun intended, but that blows your mind. So, getting back to Nick then, I went off on a tangent there. This is just a vlog, video blog. And I'm just saying what's on my mind. This is what I do with this channel. And some people like that. I like that. It just gets things off my chest. I had some bad news recently, and I like to keep myself busy with things. So, try to mitigate anything that would be too distracting for me on that. I just buckle down. So, I enjoy doing these videos, so why not put them out more? But there was a break. Not many videos for a while, but that's why, and it is due to this issue, this virus issue. But going off a tangent again, going back to Nick. There's no way that he was accidentally doing what he was doing. It's planned and deliberate every step of the way. Your actions are an extension of your personality and a feedback to creating your personality. Whether you like or not, people out there are going to judge you for every action you have, whoever you are. Nick is no exception. But he was an extension of his personality is he actually thinks he could have manipulated people without them realizing what's going on. He actually thought he could gaslight people and succeed. Otherwise he wouldn't be doing it. Because Business Nick was all about Business Nick, business success. So in order to be successful, he needed to surround himself with dumb people, apparently. Vitriolic people, people with hyperbolic, angry and derogative accusations thrown out there with no proof. So he'd rather surround himself with that. And a chat that's completely unmoderated, because he didn't want a divide. He wanted to pretend to be altruistic, and how he was pretending to do that was be completely neutral. When I see people being neutral like that, I think the alarm bells always ring for me. That was one of the problems I had from the get-go. I just didn't feel right with that. Occasionally I went into in-time chat and I saw it just increasingly filling up with bandwagon jumpers. Hey, free for all, we can jump in here, because it wasn't moderated. And then when he does moderate somebody, it's a known shithead, right? A known hater or whatever. Playing games with people because he didn't want to seem like he didn't want to be seen. Hold on a sec. Just pushing that door too because the wind's knocking it. He didn't want to be seen the way he's being seen now, being exposed. So how he thought he could do that was manipulate people into having him seen as some kind of really smart, intelligent individual who's a well-established author. I think there's a lot of egotism surrounding that. It was one of the kernel seeds of his fuckery. Surrounded by he's got a lowest self-esteem, but he wrote a book, so he's going to put his head into the ego mind, the fantasy mind, and say he's a writer, he's all these good things, I'm a published author, blah blah fucking blah, right? Who cares? I tried to read the book. Granted, I'm a bit biased because I'm not really a fiction reader, although sometimes I do like to entertain myself. But I'm more interested in oddities out there, some of the most interesting aspects of things that are already trying to be scientifically discovered or understood. Things like, what is consciousness? What is going on with the moon? Why are there multiple theories on the moon's origin rather than a standard model? Why are there contradictions with that? And so on. Right? So, interesting stuff that can be verified, but causes people to have different theories on what's really going on there. And stuff that, verified within context, 5 C's, context and credibility and so on. The who, what, why, when and where is what I've always said as well. Jason does it all the time, is surrounds himself with idiots who don't question. Question and you get blocked. Whereas Nick has a more advanced, more intelligent form of blocking. He plays word games. That's a very interesting perspective. I haven't considered that. Yeah, bullshit. Again, there's no way that all this is accidental. It's because of people like Nick I shied away from getting too close to certain communities, and because I myself do have an anxiety issues a little bit, social anxiety. However, the last 3 years have been really good in me combating that. I admit there's an issue with myself, in myself, and I have some insight to correct it as I go. Why do I like the community so much? It's because they do that. They check themselves, they confer with each other, what do you think of this, without being an ass about it. That's how you grow. As I said in the previous video, how you have your own insight, and you attempt to have insight into each other as to why they're saying particular things. That's why that group is, the whole community is so strong. And I've always skirted it around a little bit and said certain things, made my videos, but kind of remained a little bit distant. Particularly when people like Nick were floating around, I just didn't know in here what to think. But when he described in details where gaslighting came from, it kind of struck a bell with me, and in which I thought, he seemed to enjoy the concept. And he also talked about, whether it's him or talking about somebody else, where they met somebody who was very seemingly amicable but turned out to be a complete sociopath. And the way he would talk about that, it seemed to be something that as if he'd recommend it or something. Didn't say those words particularly, but the direction he leans in is that you go over past videos now, a lot of things make a lot more sense. And I also think there's paranoia here with Nick. A lot. I like to surround myself with people who are more intelligent than me, even though I might not understand a damn thing they're saying. But there's a potential to take something from that so I could learn something new. Nick likes to surround himself with dumbasses in order to big himself up, to look like he's in control, he's important, he's the main man, you know. This is why he does it, because he wants complete control. Where does that come from? That comes from a low self-esteem and a inability to admit your own lack of control. Therefore, you enter the fantasy and, hey, look at me, look what I've done. I did this, I did that. Great. We all like to boast sometimes and be happy with our achievements. I'm very glad I've got the achievement with my website, in which it's my website. There's little hurdles we come over here and there. But I didn't do it on my own. Nobody is an island. If you're cocky enough to go, I succeeded and I started with nothing, then you're just talking about a fantasy. Nobody succeeds alone. It's not possible. Nobody is an island. If you started your own company, which is now doing extremely well, and you're boasting like, oh, I did all of that, that's not true. What did happen, if you're selling a product, or whatever product it might be, something that's really helped people, you got successful because of the feedback between other people saying, hey, check out this product, this person sells it, so and so and so and so. And they probably came back again because your customer service was good as well. Everything you do is an extension of your personality. Nick, take a look in the mirror, because everything you do is an extension of your personality. If you want to be a shithead, a loser, and dream and fantasize that you're not, it's a detriment to you, and it's a detriment to people around you, and word will keep accumulating around of those facts. Same is true for Jason Smith. There's video after video after video on the playlist now, Unirock's Shitpile playlist. It's a great tool on YouTube to have the playlist, instead of having to make video after video myself to call these assholes out, which I didn't want to do. Should I do an analysis of Unirock? Then I would just rip my brain in half, because he takes 4 hours, maybe more, to say something that would take 5 minutes, and he's still wrong about it. He fills his show out with, you get a cut scene and the music and the city scene and whatever. It's garbage. Jason opens his mouth and shit comes flowing out. And, the only difference between him and Jason, like Nick and Jason, is that Nick's more clever about it. Like, he's articulate about the words he uses, but he's still being a complete asswipe. Plays word games. What is most hurtful, I think, why I am bothering to make a video at all on this, is I've seen people do this around the internet over the years. People who are really close friends, or they think their friend is credible, that's why they bother at all. And one of them just shits all over that friendship, all over that trust, and becomes exposed of their complete lack of credibility. And would do anything just to big themselves up. Hey, it's all about me. The narcissistic behaviour here is, it's so thick, and it stinks. You always smell it coming through the screen. It's vile. It's disgusting. It's a disgusting stench that needs to be wiped clean. You go around with some deodorant or something. I do have mild synesthesia, by the way, so if anyone thinks that's a bit strange, but I don't know. I don't smell the emotion, but I don't know. I like to use metaphors. This attitude is evidence within itself, I think, that Nick won't stop. He will not stop. He's going to be one of those that will not stop, because if he is that willing to ignore his own flaws and bury his head in the egocentric fantasy of, oh, I'm a author, I'm this, I'm that, by the way, your book was shit. People either loved that book or they hated it. There's no in between. That's a big alarm bell. From what other people understand, it looks like a mirror of Atlas Shrugged's equally boring, bland characters. It's been said that the characters are like cardboard, and I agree. I had a lot of trouble even seeing a mental image in my mind, even when some characters were described. But the whole book is about excessive control, which is something that Nick loves. It's about extreme capitalization, despite people moaning about the capitalizing certain things that shouldn't be, monetizing things that shouldn't be here and there. I do not see that fictional utopian future being anywhere near a possibility from everything in the book was boringly described about the capitalism here and there, and it seemed like a rant about capitalism as well in an attempt to be philosophical. God, it was boring. A struggle. It was like trying to walk through treacle. Very slow, and he's trudging through. Don't know why I said treacle. It could be mud, whatever. Something very viscous. Capitalize from being charged to go on a particular level or floor within a building, all the way up to being charged for the air you breathe. And he went into detail on this. Oh god, that was boring. People are obsessed with statistics and academic structure to things. Maybe, perhaps they're the type of people who love that book. But if it is a mirror of Atlas Shrugged, which I've looked at the reviews on that, and they're equally polarizing. People either loved it or absolutely hated. No in between. Don't you have any of your own ideas, Nick? Oh, I bet that burns a bit, doesn't it? Anything original? Or are you that low in self-esteem that you would rather borrow somebody else's ideas and work and twist it to make it look like your own? Like you twist words and to lies about people to make it look like you're better than them. Some of the first pages in the book led me to thinking, he probably gaslights the shit out of his wife as well. Because apparently if his wife had any brains at all, any, in big capitals, that's what I was reading, she'd run for the hills if she, when he told her that he's a writer. You're a writer, Nick, so what? There's lots of writers out there. Many writers produce a lot of garbage, and many writers produce really good work as well. And I thought your work was a load of garbage. I'm sorry I bought your book. It went in the bin. I couldn't read it all the way to the end. It might have been exciting by the end. But I'll say it one more time. Your actions become an extension of your personality. Out there in the world, how you're actually seen by the world. You have to realise people talk to people who talk to other people. So watch what your actions are and stop twisting it to something that, but you're not going to. You're going to be a loser just like Kyle and Jason Smith, who are actually addicted to the dopamine hit when somebody praises you, when the praise isn't due. It's just that you convince some idiot that you're this cool individual, this altruistic sort of image that you want to fantasize about. That comes with hard work and effort, by the way. Improving yourself. I'm no angel. I'm a complete asswipe sometimes. I'm very impatient, very angry sometimes. Very rude sometimes. I'm not proud of it. But I try to work on it and admit it. Because no human being on this planet is perfect. And if you think you are, then you're just part of the problem of not improving. There's no longer any room for improvement because I'm amazing. That kind of attitude sucks. True charisma, by the way, is letting people know how great they are, not how great you are. And this is all these individuals do. They just take. Praise me, do this for me, do that for me, make me look great. It doesn't work because people quickly, sometimes slowly, end up realizing what a complete shithead you are. The word people who talk to other people, and you always get exposed. So improve yourself or continue to lose. Your choice. I guarantee you're going to keep harassing. I guarantee it. Again, because you're addicted to that. Because you got any one chance to have that gaslighting success. That's all you want, is those little trinkets, those treats that are not long-term view. It's those treats are very short-term view, and you lose your business. Business Nick. So, Business Nick, if you're watching, fuck off. Thanks for watching, everyone.